Welcome. I would like to speak for you today 10 sonnets attributed to William Shakespeare. Personally, I am convinced they were written by Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. But both gentlemen are dead. We're alive. These sonnets are eternal. Many consider them to be the most beautiful poetry in the English language, about love. Love for another human being, love for God in its highest expression, love in the depths it takes us to. 10 sonnets, my choice, my sequence. I take responsibility. We'll start with one of the most beautiful, number 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of the fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe and eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. This next one was one of many that created a good deal of scandal when they appeared. It's written by a man for another man. But if we pay attention, we'll hear that the poet is very much concerned and has much experience with the love of women as well. What is the nature of this love? If you listen closely to the third quatrain and the last couplet, it is actually explicit in every sense of the word that this is not a physical attraction. Number 20. A woman's face, by nature's own hand painted, hast thou, the master, mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change as is false woman's fashion. An eye more bright than theirs, less false and rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, that steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a doting, and by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing, to my purpose nothing. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. Two sonnets now that I would call the spiritual sonnets. A love is spoken, is admired, is glorified, but this love seems so much greater than a human being. I think that this next one, the poet is playing with the famous metaphor of Plato, of the cave, that here on earth we live In a cave, we are strapped in our seats. Our heads are fixed. All we see is the back of the cave. There, the opening of the cave. Before the opening, a great fire burns, and living beings dance up and down in front of this fire. All we see here on earth are the shadows of these real beings. I think he's playing with this metaphor here. One word, foison, the spring, and foison of the year. It's spring and autumn. Foison, old word for autumn. Number 59. What is your substance? Whereof are ye made, that millions of strange shadows on you tend? Since every one hath, every one shade, and you but one doth every shadow lend. Describe Adonis, and the counterfeit is poorly imitated after you. On Helen's cheek all art of beauty set, and you in Grecian tires are painted new. Speak of the spring and foison of the year. The one doth shadow of your beauty show, the other as your bounty doth appear, and you in every blessed thing we know. In all external grace you have some part, but you, like none you, for constant heart. In the next one, he brings in the theme of time, of aging, that occurs in many of the sonnets. But again, this power of love that brings rejuvenation, what could it be? Number 37. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child do deeds of youth, so I, made lame by fortune's dearest spite, take all my comfort of thy worth and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth, or wit, or any of these all, or more, entitled in thy parts, do crowned sit, I make my love engrafted to this store. So then, I am not lame, poor, nor despised, whilst that this shadow doth such comfort give. And I in thy abundance am sufficed, and by a part of all thy glory live. Look what is best, that best I wish in thee. This wish I have, then 10 times happy me. The dark side of love, lust, betrayal, shame. As the last sonnet, most sonnets have a more melancholy part, and they almost all turn to a major chord at the end. This next one does not. Number 129. The expense of spirit in a waste of shame is lust in action, and until action, lust is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust, enjoyed no sooner, but despised straight, past reason hunted, and no sooner had, past reason hated, as a swallowed bait, on purpose laid to make the taker mad, mad in pursuit and in possession, so had, having and in quest to have, extreme, a bliss in proof, and proved a very woe, before a joy proposed, behind a dream. All this the world well knows, yet none knows well to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. And betrayal. A potion of sirens' tears. Sirens, the beautiful witches of Greek mythology. On the cliffs they sang their song irresistible, drawing the sailors to their doom. A potion of their tears, distilled from limbex, medieval distillery flasks. Betrayal. Number 119. What potions have I drunk of sirens' tears, distilled from limbex, foul as hell within, applying fears to hopes and hopes to fears, still losing when I saw myself to win. What grievous errors hath my heart committed, whilst it hath thought itself so blessed never? How have mine eyes out of their spheres been fitted in the distraction of this madding fever? Oh, benefit of ill. Now I find true that better is by evil still made better. And broken love, when it is built anew, is fairer than at first, more strong, far greater. So I return, rebuked, to my content, and gain thrice more from ills than I have spent. Shame. Number 29. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I, all alone, beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Time plays into many sonnets, 2 sonnets on time, from 2 very different aspects: death and decrepitude, the search for immortality. Number 79. That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none, or few, do hang upon those boughs that shake against the cold, bare, ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day as, after sunset, fadeth in the west, and by black night doth steal away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire as on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed by that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. Number 55. Not marble, nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, but you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone besmeared with sluttish time. When wasteful war shall statues o'erturn, and broils root out the work of masonry, nor Mars his sword, nor war's swift fire shall burn the living record of your memory. 'Gainst death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth, your praise shall still find room, even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to the ending doom. So, till the judgment, when yourself arise, you live in this, and dwell in lovers' eyes. Finally, one of the greatest sonnets, odes, glorifications of love ever written. Number 116. Let me not, to the marriage of true minds, admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or stoops with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, though his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, and no man ever loved. Thank you.